Welcome back to session 2 of the webinar with Coach Micheal Burt. And Coach, today we're going to talk about how do you transform yourself, and how do you commoditize yourself. And basically the whole point of this webinar, I would hope, is to take people from where they are to where they want to be in life. So just talk about that process.
Well, and what you don't want to do is you don't want to commoditize yourself. And let me tell you why. Commoditization means I can get you anywhere. I can get what you have to offer anywhere. So let me give an example. Let's say that I coach lots of real estate agents, and I do. And I tell them, if there's 2,000 agents in your market, let's just line all of you up in the parking lot. And let's let people almost like play pin the tail on the donkey and find who they want, right? Because almost all of them commoditize themselves. And they do that because there's no separation between them and other people. They've got real estate to sell, they got a website that shows their picture, you could cut and paste it on anybody's, and they don't tell me what the special is. See, the special is the reason I want a relationship with you, right? And so you don't ever want to commoditize yourself. And the reason we commoditize ourselves is because we're taught from an early age in school to get along versus get better. We're taught to fit in versus stand out. We're taught to go where the herd goes because everybody's doing it. Do what everybody, and I say forget that. That's baloney, right? You have got to stand out because there's so much information overload. There's so much saturation. People are getting so many messages that if you say what everybody else says, who needs you, right? Covey, the greatest mentor of my life, always said where two opinions are the same, one is unnecessary. And so if you watch me, I try to be very bold. I try to say things that'll get people talking and thinking because I'm trying to stand out. And if you think you can get Coach Burt anywhere, then you're not going to pay Coach Burt to come in. And so part of this concept is you got to get out of the business of selling just product and services. You got to quit positioning as features and benefits.
Yep.
You got to start selling the goods. And the goods is you, right?
Yep.
And so people don't buy into the dream until they buy into the dreamer. And so what I say is get out of whatever business you're in and get into the transformation business. And the transformation business looks like this. You come to me one way, and you're insecure about what you want to do because you don't really know. You're not confident. You lack clarity. And because of something Coach Burt has, when I give this to you through my distribution channel of my work, through my knowledge and skill and desire and confidence and networks, and when I give it to you, then you leave me transformed. So you came one way, low-level energy. You leave me another way. I transform your energy, and I don't care what you're selling. That's what you're doing for people, okay? And so if you go back to the real estate agent, if I go to a real estate agent and I want to do a real estate deal, I don't go to the agent who doesn't know anything about the market, who's got bad energy, who shows up late, who really brings me down. I go to the one who will say, here's what I think you should do, and let me tell you why. Because I know everything about the market, and I'm a master negotiator, and I can really help you out, right? I go to the one that transforms my energy. And if that agent tells me, if you don't do this deal, I'm going to buy the house, then I always buy it. That's the example I use in the book, because I've got a real estate buddy who does that for me. He debates, he challenges, he pushes back. He says, I wouldn't do this. He makes me work through it a little bit mentally. And when I get done, I've been transformed, right?
Yep.
To transform other people, you got to have something, okay? One of my key sayings in life is you cannot give away what you don't possess. If you possess very little, there's very few people who are going to want a piece of you, right? You're not a person of interest. You're probably a person that repels other people. They run in the other direction because you're just trying to sell them something. Nobody woke up today and said, I can't wait to be sold.
Yeah.
But there'll be people that'll buy millions and billions of dollars worth of stuff today. Think about the favorite artist that you have. Does that artist have to come to your house and try to beg you to buy their songs on iTunes? No, you go in there and run up your credit card bill and buy all the songs they got. You go see them in concert. You chase them around like a groupie. I mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, because they're people of interest.
Yep.
And those people of interest have something. And let me tell you what they have, Bruce. It's really interesting. I got this by watching Eric Church. Eric Church is a country music singer. And at first, he was kind of just a average country music singer. And then I watched him go from nobody to somebody fast, right? And I stepped back and I said, what is it that Eric Church has? And I said, he's got great songs. and what the songs are is that's content. And I don't care what you're selling. If you got lousy content, if you just try to force what you have on other people, nobody's buying, right? Content is what you have to say to the world. And are you saying common things in uncommon ways? Okay? Can you take something that's common, it's been said every day, and say it in a new way that people want a piece of? That's content, right? Then you got to have great delivery, because there's nothing worse than having great content with lousy delivery. So that's the artist who's got great songs, but will always be a songwriter because they can't sing. That's the professor who's got all the knowledge but is lousy at teaching, got no followers, right? And so the delivery is, do you make people come alive when they're around you? Do you transform their energy because of something you got that is so powerful? It wakes them up. If they're living with the dead when they come to you, they're no longer living with the dead. They're alive. They're kicking now, right? Third thing you got to have is a clear position. Clear position, mine is everybody needs a coach in life. Chick-fil-A's is eating more chicken, and a cow tells us that, right? Yep. And so what you're looking at is what's your position in the market. If you don't have a position in the market, you can't own a position. You got to pick a position before you can own a position. Now, I picked a position that I think I can own, which is the coaching revolution. Everybody needs a coach in life because of my unique background, because of my free prize, because of my unique education, my unique mentors. And I am fascinated and motivated, and probably will be for the rest of my life, by this collision between business and sport and business. See, the business world needs more sports, and the sports world needs more business. And I kind of bring these two together and bam, collide these two things. And I'm fascinated by this. Yep. That's my position in the market. Everybody needs a coach in life. What kind of coach? You need more marketing coaches and entrepreneur coaches and business coaches and dating coaches and marital coaches and start a business coaching. I mean, everybody's going to be turning to coaches because the complicated life needs to be made simple. And that's what a great coach does. That's a position. You with me? Yep. And that needs to be on all of your stuff, your websites, everything. I need to be able to know what your position is when I look at your stuff. And most people screw this up. I don't know what their position is. The fourth thing you got to have is you got to have great packaging. Okay, so I've got content. That's what I share with the world. I got great delivery, makes you come alive. Great position. This is why you should have a relationship with me. Then your packaging. You can't have $1 million brand with $15 packaging. Nito Cobain always said this: you can skimp on lots of things, but you can't skimp on what you send out to the world. So I have hired certain people that's all they do is package my intellectual property, right? Because that's what I'm selling. Yep. That's my knowledge that I'm selling to the world. How are we selling it? Through this webinar, selling it through books and CDs and DVDs, through my radio show, through live speaking engagements, through one-on-one coaching, through one-to-many coaching. And so this is very important, that you package your stuff in a way that the world says, they had nickel and dime this. This is the big time person, and this is what you get. And so I tell people, you can dine on filet mignon or you can dine on a 99-cent hamburger. Now that's up to you, but you always get what you pay for, right? You can go to a great steakhouse, you can go to McDonald's, and you know what you're getting in both. So if you want the market to take you more serious, raise your brand equity, raise your perception value, then you got to package your stuff up better, okay? And the fifth thing that all people have is they've got multiplier relationships. A multiplier relationship is a relationship with someone who can quantum leap your brand. They're a person who can get you to the front of the line. They're a person who can expand your businesses or services, expand your mindsets. And when I sit back and studied Eric Church, he had all 5 of these things. And I said, man, all great artists have these 5 things. Yep. I was watching a thing on Kenny Rogers the other night, the gambler. And in the 80s or early 90s, they gave Kenny Rogers a $21 million advance in the 80s. Now go back to the 80s and think about what kind of advance that was, right? But he had great content. The gambler, right? Know when to hold him, know when to fold him. He had great delivery of that content. He had great positioning, okay? Everybody knew who he was. He had great packaging, and he had multiplier relationship that just kept. And then when he formed that bond with Dolly Parton, that day, it just propelled him to the next level. See, that's a multiplier relationship. Yep. Same thing for you in your business. So don't just be the local CPA. Don't just be the local banker. Don't just be the real estate agent or the motivational speaker. Go out there and let people know what you have. Make the double shift. And the double shift is this: I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm a certain kind of entrepreneur that takes lower level resources to higher levels of productivity. And I have 3 real special, unique abilities. And I own a company that does this, works with real successful people who are great at building businesses but need help developing their people. Now you see the difference between that and me introducing myself as, hey, I'm a motivational speaker. You see, now you're saying, man, I need my people developed. Man, this guy's got something I like. He's got great content. So where do you share your content? Social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google+, these video. I'm sharing content with the world, and I'm putting it out there because I want to turn people on to what I've got.
Yep. And I know right now you talk about, basically how to manage your content, and that's so important because, like you're talking about, normally people do a market analysis and you go through, it's the same old song and dance. But once you have that material, that unique perspective that you talk about, how do you become a person of interest with that material and become more confident with it?
This is real simple. Confidence, and I just did a talk on this the other day, is the memory of success. And you have success through consistent, repetitive, ongoing, systematic practice, right?
Yep.
There are things that build confidence, there are things that erode confidence, but you can build, maintain, and protect your confidence if you understand what confidence is, which is the memory of success. And how do we have success? Consistent, repetitive practice. So to me, there's a lot of trial and error in becoming a person of interest. But when you, and I believe it all goes back to one thing, your position. See, everything I put out starts with my position of everybody needs a coach in life. What do you need a coach in? You need a coach for the body, that's a physical coach. You need a coach for the mind, that's a business coach or a working coach. You need a coach for the heart, that's a relationship type coach. You need a coach for the spirit, that's a spiritual, or a spiritual teacher for the spiritual. And so what you're doing is you need coaches in these areas to take the complicated stuff, make it real simple. And that's how you become a person of interest, is you pick a niche and you say, I'm going to own this niche. And other people are going to want a piece of this because I know so much about it. When you watch television, I was thinking about Karl Rove the other day. From the time Karl Rove has been young, he studied politics. Where you like him or don't like him doesn't matter. But he is kind of a little guru when it comes to politics, right? And they called him the strategist. They called him the mind behind George W. Bush's re-election. I mean, you know. And so he's this guy who has studied this so deep that he's become a person of interest. So he's got a following of people that want to hear what he's got to say. He's on the news channels at night. He's making predictions about the election. People are listening to him. That is a person of interest. That's how you become an expert of knowing your content.
And it's so difficult because you try to be, when you're starting out, you try to be all things to all people. And I know for you, particularly starting out, you know, you're over here, you're over there. What's your mindset going further into the future with your company and buckling down in one area? I know
there's three things we're going to do. We're going to turn managers into coaches because I think we can do that better than anybody in the country because of my coaching background. And I predict in the next 5 years, every coach in America, every manager in America will have to become a coach.
Yep.
We're going to take salespeople and we're going to turn them into superstars, right? And we're going to do that through my legacy selling system. Exactly, we're going to teach people how to become people of interest, salespeople, right? Then we're going to turn leaders into legacy thinkers. How do you build a legacy organization that taps into the holistic part of all parts of a person's nature, the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit? And we're going to lead the coaching revolution where everybody needs a coach in life. So there's two journeys here. Same thing for these people on this webinar. There are two journeys. There's a personal journey, and that's Coach Burt trying to become a thought leader in this country, right? And then Coach Burt building a company that's an organization of interest over here that other people want a piece of. And I'll have other coaches who specialize in their area. We'll have people specialize in webinars and specialize like you do with young people, right? And specialize in salespeople. And that's how we're doing, is we're honing in on 3 or 4 things that Micheal Burt Enterprises is going to do, and we're focused on scalability with webinars and radio and those type things.
Well, thank you, Coach. We're going to go ahead and we'll have segment number 3 coming up. Thank you.
Thank you.